Leadership isn't about titles. It's about influence, trust, and how you show up for your people. So in this episode, we're diving into the core leadership skills every team leader and broker must master to build a thriving, high-performing real estate team. Whether you're leading 2 agents or 100 or more, these principles will help you inspire, coach, and grow your team and yourself in the process.
Let's chat about that today on the Wandering But Not Lost podcast.
And now your host, Jen O'Brien and Matt Emerson.
Well, welcome everyone back to the WBNL Wandering But Not Lost podcast, where we help you align your business, your life, and your team so you can prosper. This is episode 391. You can find all of our show notes over at WBNLpodcast.com.
So we love talking about leadership and culture, and we're going to be referencing an excellent book that we recommend to be on everybody's reading list, Good to Great, by Jim Collins and others. It's just a definitive piece on what has turned many Fortune 500, or maybe it was actually less than 100 companies, 500 companies, that were, by a bunch of metrics that they use in the book, went from good, which is mainly about how they performed on the stock market and so forth, to great companies, right? And one of those key principles that always sticks with Matt and I is this thing of level 5 leadership. So we're going to talk about that, because great leaders don't just manage, they inspire. They lead with intention and clarity. But here's the thing, most real estate leaders start as top producers, right? Not trained managers or leaders even. And there is a difference between management and leadership. The skills that make you great at selling homes aren't the same ones that make you great at leading people.
That's right. That's exactly right. Because leadership is completely a different game. And one of the biggest mistakes new team leaders make, or anyone that's stepping into a leadership role can make, is thinking that they just need to lead by example, which is important, but it's not the only way.
Totally. You can't just lead by example. You have to lead with intention. That means developing your emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and the mindset to support, coach, and grow the others, not just drive production all the time.
That's right.
Leadership starts from within, like most things do. It's not about control. It's about connection, trust, and consistency. The best leaders we've worked with all had one thing in common. They knew who they were and what they stood for.
Yeah, it is really so true. It's kind of fun when you've been in business for a long time and you can look back at all the people that have come in and out of your life, through the years, and you can just, they stand out so vividly, right? Those good leaders. Yeah, it's crazy. So, and that's what directly ties into level 5 leadership, from Jim Collins' classic book, Good to Great, which we already talked about, which is amazing because that book has been out for a gazillion years and it still holds up. I mean, it's still a great read. He found that most successful companies were led by what we call level 5 leaders, those who combine personal humility along with the professional will to get the job done, right? They're not driven by ego, though. That is really the key to the whole game. They're driven by purpose. They're ambitious, but that ambition is for the mission and their people, not for themselves. Yeah. And
there's a great analogy in the Good to Great book that it always has stuck with me through the years, because I probably read this thing like 20 years ago, this book.
Yeah.
When I was a broker at Prudential, actually. We had it as a reading list thing, and we did it as a group of brokers and managers. But anyway, I love the mirror window analogy, and this is what it really means. It says, level 5 leaders will look in the mirror at themselves, obviously, when things aren't going right. They don't point fingers at other people and blame other people. If things aren't working out right or there's something going wrong, they look at themselves and say, what could I have done differently? How could I have supported my people? And conversely, when things are going great and the team's winning and the production is up, they look through the window and give all the credit to their team members. And when we were talking at the top of the show here, Matt, that is what is so clear when we think back about, and I bet if you're listening now and you think about people that have led you and been your superiors, where do they fit? Because it's so clear. That analogy is so clear. There are so many sort of narcissistic leaders and people that are out there that do the complete opposite of level 5 leadership. Blame everybody when it's going wrong and take all the credit when it's going right.
I know.
Right.
It's such a huge distinction, right? In real estate, we often celebrate the whole charisma of somebody and being able to be out there to, to really attract, right? And the production that people do. But humility, service, and consistency build long-term trust and loyalty, not only with your team, but also your prospects and your clients.
Which is what we all want as a team leader or a broker. Right. You want people to stay with you because they love your culture and your leadership, because great leaders listen more than they speak. Yeah. Honestly, great salespeople listen more than they speak. They ask questions instead of giving orders, and they hold themselves accountable before they hold others accountable.
Yeah, it's so true. So it's so funny. I guess, we've been kind of practicing this for such a long time. It seems like second nature, right? It's just obvious, the logical thing to do, but a lot of people just don't jump in there. So if you're listening right now, take a moment to write down your own leadership philosophy in one sentence, if you can do that. What do you believe about leading others, right? What's your guiding principle when you're doing that?
And hopefully it kind of falls into what we're talking about today. And if not, well, it's your world, your team. You get to lead it how you like, and therefore the results that come with it. So that one exercise alone can bring a lot of clarity to how you show up for your team.
Yeah. So let's break down the core leadership skills every team leader needs to actually master, starting with communication and clarity.
Yes, and absolutely, you can't over communicate your mission, vision, and values. And you do that also mostly by not saying so much, but actually living it yourself. Walking the talk, being the example from that perspective. When we say lead by example, are you an embodiment of what you stand for, your mission, your values, and your guiding principles of your team. Regular team meetings, even quick check-ins, just talking to your team, help your agents stay connected and clear on your expectations.
That's right, because clarity builds confidence. And when your people know what's expected of them, they perform better and the trust just continues to grow.
Yeah, and it happens organically and naturally, right? Mm-hmm. Next key leadership skill is coaching and development. Your job isn't to have all the answers. It's to ask better questions. That's what a good coach does. They reflect back, ask questions, because most people really kind of know the answer sometimes. They're just looking for validation. Coaching isn't about helping people. Coaching is about helping discovering Coaching is about helping people discover their own solutions, and you just guide them by asking really excellent questions. Things like, what do you think your next best step is? So what do you think? People go, I don't know. What do you think? And you'll say, well, if you did know, what do you think the next best step would be? You'll be surprised at how people really do know. They're just looking for you to provide the quick answer. And listen, I fell into that trap as a young manager. I felt good. I got validation because I quickly answered everybody's questions. And then I realized I created a codependent relationship with my agents. It is so critical to do this step and let people solve their own issues. Now, you don't avoid it, you help them, but you get the differentiation, I think, of answering their question because it's quicker, but then they're always going to come to you because you're not reinforcing that they know the answers. Okay. What support do you need from me to get there? Those kind of questions, and get them to.
I love that, Jim, because when you are leading someone and you're using that technique and you're actually, having them come up with their own solutions, when that light bulb goes off in their head, it is such a rewarding feeling to know that you have gotten them into that place, as opposed to just giving them, what you think would be the right thing. It's just, it's a game changer.
And you'll have less of those gotta minutes when you start empowering them to realize that they know. However, people still want to have FaceTime with you. Yeah. I mean, I have a team of seasoned agents and they still want validation and want to run things by me. And I love that and appreciate that. But I use this technique to say, what do you think you should do? Well, you're spot on. That's how it is. Or I just wanted to run it by you, so there you go.
Right. It really, that shift right there really just changes everything, right? So because what it's really doing is it's building empowerment within your team. It's letting them kind of, take charge of their own business, which is what everyone really wants to do, especially in real estate, or that's what their original thought was when they got into the business. When you help people think for themselves, you're developing future leaders and not just followers.
That is the key. That is another indicator. If people are afraid to develop the folks under them that could ultimately replace them, and you're looking to keep them down, then that's not level 5 leadership. No. And one of my next favorite ones we're going to talk about here is accountability with compassion. It's not micromanagement, it's mentorship. Track performance objectively, not emotionally, and celebrate the wins as much as you address challenges.
I know that right there is the key, right? Accountability without recognition breeds resentment. And it really, really does. I mean, that sounds like a kind of a very bold statement there, but it really is true, because resentment can really start building up within your organization if you're not ever addressing the wins along the way. Accountability with encouragement, though, it builds trust and growth.
And finally, as a leader, you have got to get really great at conflict resolution. Don't sweep issues under the rug. Address things head on, early and directly. And the thing that comes to mind here is when you have a bad apple on your team, that can really spread, negative vibes throughout your entire team very quickly. And people are sitting back. Other team members don't all run and talk to you about it. There's always somebody who will be like that. But most people don't want confrontation. They don't want people to not like them. So they're waiting for you as a leader to make a quick decision. And when you make the right decision after trying to help somebody, integrate into your principles of your team, your guiding principles, and they don't, when you say you're not a fit and you let them go, wow, that is what will bring the cohesiveness of your team together quicker than anything, So listen to understand before responding. Think before you speak. Listen and think before you speak, and focus on win-win outcomes, on conflicts.
Jen and I have been in this real estate business for decades now, right? Mm-hmm. And you will come across different leaders, that don't want to cut someone loose that might be a top producer or someone that has influence within the office. There's no way that anyone who's been in real estate for a certain, X amount of years hasn't run into that kind of scenario. I cannot think of one time that didn't turn out to be the right decision to cut that person. It's just amazing how sometimes you will be a little bit, even as a good leader, right, hesitant of cutting that production out of your business. But oh my God, it makes
you'll make up for it because you're staying in, you're congruent with what you really say you stand for, and it'll attract some other business or other people. If you don't believe that, then you're staying in lack, in fear as opposed to abundance. And there you go. Right. Yeah,
because a healthy team culture depends on honesty, empathy, and respect, not on gossip, not on avoidance. So like Jan was saying, when you identify something, you need to jump in and handle that kind of, festering wound or whatever you want to call it as quickly as possible.
And Matt and I have said this for years, teams thrive on culture, not control. And also, people aren't joining your team or your brokerage because ultimately of the best commission split or because you provide leads. They may initially think that's why they came, but I'm going to tell you why they stay. It's because of the culture, the support, and the leadership that you provide. Yeah. All those other things are ancillary. Okay. Yeah. The culture you create as a leader, it determines everything from the overall production to the happiness and the retention of your team members.
Yeah, that's 100% correct. Because culture isn't a slogan on a wall, and boy, have we said that a lot over the years.
It's not.
It's about how people feel when they show up to work every single day.
And you have to create a psychological safety in your team environment. Every agent should feel safe to ask questions, share ideas, and make mistakes without fear of judgment. We were just talking a little bit about that. And open communication, honest, clear, open communication. When you set those boundaries from the get-go that everybody has a voice and you really mean that, everybody has a voice and we're going to look at it. That's always been my approach to leadership is get everybody's input. And then as a leader, make the best decision by everyone's buy-in. You'll get everyone's buy-in when they know that you're listening to. They have a platform, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, we always talk about, if you know the rules of the game, you can play the game, right? But if you don't know the rules, it's impossible to play, right? So you need to, obviously make sure that you have clear roles and you have boundaries within your organization too. Confusion breeds conflict, but clarity builds confidence.
Yeah, and really make collaboration part of what happens within your group. So team goals, don't you say what the goals are for the team. This is a great time of the year to be working on that. It's to share, if you're a team leader or a working broker in a company, and share your personal goals and your, production goals. And then have each member, you can go through a goal, use our content. We actually have, Matt, we have our free business planning and goal setting mini course. We also have it up in our YouTube course channel, or the course tab on our YouTube channel. Basically all the videos that are from that course. And if you want the downloads and the handouts and how to do the goal writing, you just have to go to WBNLcoaching.com, go to the freebies tab, and you'll see our free fundamentals and business planning course. But what a great exercise to do with your team right now, and go through how to set SMART goals and then have everybody share them. And that is how you get the collaborative team goal. And everybody's got a buy-in that the team is going to do 100 transactions next year. And each person has told you what they're committed to doing. Right. So I love that. Right. This is what you can do with that shared goals, sharing the wins in team meetings. It's always calling out and sharing success stories and giving people that consistent recognition.
That's right. And you've said this quite a few times. As a matter of fact, you were kind of talking about a little while ago, just to the people that are on your team right now. When your team feels seen, supported, and challenged, they'll follow you just about anywhere, right? It's that trust that you build along the way, and that relationship that you're building. That's a genuine relationship, and that's the whole key. You're not just faking it, right? It's a genuine thing.
Exactly. And what we've been talking about in this episode is it's all about people and relationships over production. Because when you focus on the people and they really know you care about them, the production naturally follows.
And that is exactly what level 5 leadership really comes down to. Being humble, humble enough to serve and strong enough to actually lead. All
right, so here's your leadership action plan, courtesy of Matt and Jan from WBNL Coaching. Schedule consistent one-on-ones with your agents. Right now, perfect time of the year as we drop this episode for helping them review what happened this year, the good, the bad, what they need to stop, what do they want to focus on in the new year, and establish what those goals are. Ask your team, what can I do to support you better? I'll tell you one of the exercises I always did as a branch manager in a team. I'd get a whiteboard out and we'd have a whole meeting right about this time of the year, November or December, and go, give everything to me. We have to have some ground rules. There's no bitching or whining. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
And we want, if you want to talk about a problem that we have here, like it would be things like, well, the copiers don't work all the time or whatever. So what you want is not a bunch of people list of things of what they are complaining about. We want solutions. So if you set those boundaries and go, what is it that you would like to see us do as a team or a brokerage? Put it on the whiteboard, have a discussion over it, and then be able to talk about a super powerful thing. I used to do it all the time, right? So what can I do to better support you? There's an idea to take it to the next level. Review your systems and expectations quarterly of what you provide to support your agents and then with them as well, right? Check-ins. And then weekly reflect on how you showed up as a leader. Are you handling things in a meeting? Are you doing that consistent recognition? Are you taking lessons learned and turning them into a positive, for example?
Right. Because remember, leadership is a practice, not a position. The best leaders keep learning, they keep growing, and they keep adjusting as they roll along.
And remember, the best leaders, what we're calling, AKA Jim Collins is calling, the level 5 leaders, focus on growing their people, their team members, and the mission, not their own spotlight.
That's right. And if you're ready to take this to the next level, amp up your leadership skills and your team success, go check out our real estate team builder course over at WBNLcoaching.com. Oh, the phone is right there. There it is. It is a course that will be helpful for you if you've had a team for 100 years or if you are brand new to building a team, because there's going to be something in there that will be able to help you out. It really is soup to nuts on how you actually build the foundation. It really is helping you with the background of making a strong foundation for you to build from. Our course is a complete roadmap for building, managing, and leading a productive real estate team with all the systems, the forms, the templates, and the video and the guidance, and a little sprinkled in one-on-one coaching if you need that as well too. So there's just so much much over there for you to check that out. Go to WBNLcoaching.com, go to our courses tab, and you can check out our real estate team builder course. We also have an intro to team builder course, which is absolutely free. So you can kind of just feel that out a little bit. If you go to our downloads page, we have a number of downloads on, that putting all the pieces together and checklists to get your team going in the right direction. So a complete plethora of stuff over there. And we also have a whole team page on the site as well. So if you are you have a strong team and you might be missing one little thing, like, I don't know, maybe a training program for your team. Well, we got one of those for you too.
I was just going to throw a little plug in for that.
Yeah, there's a ton of information over there. And here's the thing: if you just have any questions, just go to our contact page and reach out to us, because we're here to answer questions. We want you to thrive. That's why we're here. That's why we do it. So check that out over WBNLcoaching.com.
Absolutely. Well, until next time, everyone, thanks for tuning in. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this with somebody who you think might need this information as a real estate professional and leader. Remember to stay connected, stay inspired, and keep showing up as the level 5 leader your team or brokerage deserves.